the laws are what they are. You don't get to, as a prosecutor, to change the laws. And in the end, the evidence they had did not prove what they needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you have an objection to the laws, and I think it's what Eric was talking about, if you have an objection to the laws, then change the laws. But don't bring a case where you can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, well, you're looking at from a very...
And that's what my statement was. It's okay. I'm a prosecutor.
Let's pull back to 30,000 feet now. What about the repercussions from this? What about the message this sends to all the kids who, like I say, I think this kid watched too many comic book movies. I think he wants to be some sort of hero, and I think there's lots of incels out there like him who will do the same thing. And it's a tinderbox. I mean, I read today 46% of people in this country, according to the Zogby poll, think a civil war is likely. Half the country thinks a civil war is likely. I don't think it's a great idea to say to people, you know what, if the police are not doing the job, as they weren't at that moment in Kenosha, the answer can't be, then the citizens have full police power.
Bill Maher brought on Chris Christie onto his show, who absolutely destroyed Bill Maher on this topic that we're going to be talking about here on Real Time with Bill Maher. And Bill Maher got destroyed so bad and embarrassed so bad by Chris Christie that his audience, his own audience, started to turn on him here live on Real Time with Bill Maher. Let's get into this clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher of Bill getting absolutely destroyed for being a woke idiot once again live on his own show.
I think vigilantes got a signal that you can go out and do whatever you want, which I don't think is going to be good. But for a talk show host who's about to go on vacation on a debate show, this is a dream. Because all I have to do is read both your statements today, and we're off to the races. This is you. This decision is an indictment of irresponsible laws that make our society far more violent and unsafe under the guise of personal freedom and so-called self-defense. Chris Christie says, okay. Justice was done in the Rittenhouse verdict. Renews our faith in the jury system. Who wants to go first?
I think the real crisis here that we are missing, in Brownsville, a 17-year-old can get an assault rifle faster than he can get a computer. This young man, 17-year-old, it was illegal for him to purchase the rifle, but it was legal for him to carry it across state lines, going into a community, looking for people that he wanted to shoot or in some way disrupt.
Dude, what? I can't believe we're still doing the Rittenhouse thing. Like, I don't want to go too deep into this argument, but it's so crazy how I say this all the time, how these people like Eric Adams go on Real Time with Bill Maher and go on these shows like The View and go on all these shows, and they look Bill Maher in the eye and they say these lies just so confidently. Like, even some of them, they're not lies, right? He did cross state lines. Who gives a shit? It's not illegal to cross state lines. I don't get that part. It's like the left just come up with these slogans. Like Whoopi Goldberg and The View will say something and it just like catches on. And like Bill Maher starts saying it, Eric Adams starts saying it. It's like convicted felon recently with Donald Trump. It's like they just all get the download in their brain at the same time. These robots just all get the download at the same time. And they're like, okay, guys, the catchphrase for 2024 is convicted felon. And then back with the Rittenhouse stuff, I think it was like 2022 when that was going down. It was the download for 2022 is he crossed state lines. We all must repeat it like the absolute bots that we are.
That is the real crisis. What are we doing to our children that you have been access to these types of weapons?
Illegal for him to buy it, but okay for him to carry?
Yes.
That's as crazy as wear your mask when you walk into the restaurant, but take it off when you eat.
Right.
It's just crazy.
It really is.
Well, look, I don't think that our two statements are necessarily as different as you think.
What?
Well, no, because look, what I was talking about was I look at it as a prosecutor. And the laws are what they are. You don't get to, as a prosecutor, to change the laws. And in the end, the evidence they had did not prove what they needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you have an objection to the laws, and I think it's what Eric was talking about, if you have an objection to the laws, then change the laws. But don't bring a case where you can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, well, you're looking at from a very...
And that's what my statement was. It's okay. I'm a prosecutor.
Let's pull back to 30,000 feet now. What about the repercussions from this? What about the message this sends to all the kids who, like I say, I think this kid watched too many comic book movies. I think he wants to be some sort of hero, and I think there's lots of incels out there like him who will do the same thing. And it's a tinderbox. I mean, I read today 46% of people in this country, according to the Zogby poll, think a civil war is likely. Half the country thinks a civil war is likely. I don't think it's a great idea to say to people, you know what, if the police are not doing the job, as they weren't at that moment in Kenosha, the answer can't be, then the citizens have full police powers. That can't be the response, right?
No.
He didn't have full police power, idiot. He just was defending himself with a gun. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy, but we saw the footage, man. Like, everybody could see the footage. We watched it. It was on camera, dumbass. You can watch it, and somehow they're probably still going to continue to convince themselves that the blatant lies that they're spreading on Bill Maher are correct. But you can see he was walking around, not pointing it at anybody. He got literally attacked, assaulted. They tried to murder the man. And then he gets in trouble, or he didn't get, I got in trouble, I guess, but eventually they did find him not guilty, obviously, so that's great. But then these idiots like Eric Adams and Bill Maher act like he is the one that should be in jail. Dude, if he didn't do what he did, he would be dead. I don't understand how he is the bad guy in that situation. And also, not to mention, they were burning down cities, they were burning down buildings and ruining places, leaving them in ashes, literally in ashes. They were burning cities down. Fiery, but mostly peaceful, at least, though.
No, and look, I don't disagree with that. The point, though, is that you can't use an individual case to send a broader societal message if the laws don't cover it. So what you need to do then, if we're concerned about that, and we should be, is then we need to go after the laws and make sure we make it very clear to people that you can't take the law into
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
your own hands. But that's what you need to do, not convict somebody who, under the law, was not entitled to be convicted.
And you know what I believe we must take into our own hands? My plea to America, we must take our country back. We are allowing the fringe elements in both of these conversations to really hijack what everyday Americans want. We want safe cities, educate our children, and to be gainfully employed.
Oh, so I know a great solution to this, right, Eric Adams? And I'm sure you're going to agree with me wholeheartedly. I know a great solution to this. Let's just let in like a ton, like a shit ton of illegal immigrants all into the country and let them just run free. And actually not even just run free and not really care that they're in here. We should actually like give them safe housing and allow them to vote. I think that would be the best case scenario, because what Americans really want, according to Eric Adams, and I'm sure Bill Maher agrees as well, they really just want a safe place to live and a way to work a job. They really want just the employment and a safe place to live. And I think the absolute best way to do this is to just let in a shit ton of illegal immigrants. That's obviously the best case scenario, right?
When you have this division that is just ripping us apart, I'm really concerned. There is I believe there's an anarchist group in this country. The only desire is to continue to pull our cities apart. When I saw police vehicles being firebombed, when I saw the destruction of property that's happening, we have a place in Portland where there's a city in a city. This is America. There's only one country called America. There's not multiple countries.
Yeah, idiot. You're letting in the anarchists. You're letting in actual terrorists through the southern border. Like, this is mind-blowing. I'm absolutely mind-blown every single time I record these videos every day. How idiotic these people are. And I actually don't believe that Eric Adams is this stupid. I don't think he's this stupid. I don't think Bill Maher is this stupid. I think Bill Maher might be this stupid. Okay, the guy smokes a lot of weed. But I don't think Eric Adams and these politicians are this stupid. I think they're doing it on purpose. I think they're paid off by people to do this stuff on purpose. Allegedly. I'm not making any accusations. Allegedly. I think they're doing this on purpose.
Talking about a group on the left or on the right, or both?
Both. Far. There's nothing wrong with being pragmatic is progressive. I'm progressive. I want to close. I want to deal with our criminal justice system that's unfair. I want to close Rikers Island. But darn it, I want to close the pipeline that feeds Rikers Island. 30% of those children are dyslexic.
I think you just heard why he won. Because I think that despite these divisions that we're talking about in the country, which are very real, there is still a large section of this country that says, just talk common sense to me.
And I don't think Eric Adams is really, I mean, he might talk common sense. Like he knows what the actual problems are, right? Like he just said the actual problems. People just want to be able to afford shit and live in a safe town. That's really it. That's what it really boils down to. The problem is he's not doing anything to push that forward. And neither are any of the other Democrats at all. And to be honest with you, neither are the vast majority of Republicans. There's only a handful of them that are actually trying to push that forward. And it's crazy because Bill Maher will probably agree. And then also at the same time, Bill Maher will say that California is a great place to live. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this episode here of Real Time with Bill Maher, where Bill Maher was so unhinged, as well as Eric Adams, that you could hear the applause whenever Chris Christie would speak about Kyle Rittenhouse, which is very surprising for an audience on Real Time with Bill Maher, for them to applaud someone like Chris Christie and his stance on Kyle Rittenhouse. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this episode here of Real Time with Bill Maher?